Hello EFD squad and welcome to another edition of Scout Report, where today we're looking at who could have the huge task of replacing Alexis Sanchez if he leaves this summer. 5. Lorenzo Insigne. Now it would be hard to replace Alexis, but to get to grips with the type of player that could partially fill his boots, we need to delve into his key statistics. The Chilean loves a take-on, successfully completing 68% of his dribbles, and he gets an average of 3 per 90. Add that to 2.2 chances created, 0.3 assists and 0.7 goals per game, and you have a rare breed of a goal-scoring and creative winger. So introducing Lorenzo Insigne, the 5'4" winger, impressed in Serie A this season, bagging 18 goals and picking up 9 assists in 37 appearances for Napoli from the left. Alongside the prolific Dries Mertens, he helped the Partenopei reach 3rd place. But whilst Alexis is an elite dribbler, the Italian falls some way behind, successfully taking on opponents 1.8 times per 90 with a 51% success rate. These numbers seem more similar to a playmaker than a winger. They're more like David Silva or Kevin De Bruyne than Eden Hazard. Insigne's chance creation also stands shoulder to shoulder with the two City boys, creating 2 chances per game. That's only 0.2 less than Sanchez and 0.6 less per 90 than David Silva. The chances he created were great ones too, having a higher assist rate than the Spaniard and the same as the Chileans. The winger's skill on the ball might be intriguing to Arsene Wenger. He has a pass completion of 86%, that's 13% more accurate than Alexis, meaning that Wenger ball can fully flourish with the little man in the side. If there's one thing the tiny Italian loves though, it's a shot. He takes a mammoth 4.5 shots at goal per 90, which is more than the likes of Neymar and Alexandre Lacazette. But with 2.4 of them coming from outside the box, Insigne's shot accuracy is a rather low 46%. With a value of 34 million euros, it would take a hefty bid to lure the Napoli youth product away from the Stadio San Paolo. 4. Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura was a regular in the PSG side in 2016-17, starting 29 times, finding the net 12 times and setting up his teammates on 5 occasions. But with PSG linked to a big-name forward every summer, it could be the Brazilian who makes way. It's rare to see an attacking product of the World Cup's most successful nation without flair, and that's something Lucas has in abundance. He averages 2.6 take-ons per 90, close to his compatriot Felipe Coutinho's numbers, and also has a similar success rate, around 60%. Remarkably still only 24, Lucas still hasn't hit his prime yet, but he produces 2 chances a game for his teammates, that's not too far off Alexis, and more than Henrik Mkhitaryan managed last campaign. An 83% pass completion is also respectable for a player who's constantly in the high-risk areas of the pitch, and that showcases his ability to link up with teammates. Despite scoring 12 times, the winger only averages 2.4 shots a game. That's 1 less than Alexis pulls off. 1.7 of those shots come inside the box, however, showing that he only has a pop at goal if he's more than confident of the ball hitting the back of the net. With a transfer value of 38 million euros, Arsenal would have to pay big money to land the Brazilian after already breaking their transfer record for Lacazette. But if Alexis leaves, Wenger might be tempted to raid Ligue 1 for their best talents once again this window. 3. David Naidoo. Now for an absolute wildcard, and it's David Naidoo. The Brazilian winger was only purchased by Ajax in January for 12 million euros and has played just 500 minutes in the Eredivisie, but made a big impression in a short time, scoring 3 times in 8 appearances. You might have recognised the name from his brief sub-appearance in the Europa League final, and though he didn't make a big impact from the bench in that game, he's been causing chaos for defenders in Holland. His 4.2 take-ons per game is higher than Messi's, while Naidoo also has a higher success rate than the Argentinian. Not content with topping the greatest player of all time in dribbling, Naidoo also creates more chances at 2.5 per 90. That also betters Alexis Sanchez in that regard. Despite this, he's managed an average of 0.2 assists per game, and with a clinical striker like Kasper Dolberg up top, you have to question his ability to create golden opportunities. Regardless of this, Naidoo's stats show that there's another hugely promising youngster in Ajax's ranks, taking a total of 4.3 shots a game, with over half coming from inside the box, is a sure sign of a quality player. Couple that with his 84% pass accuracy, and the 20-year-old seems well ahead of his years. He's valued at just 7 million euros, and Amsterdam's Premier side looks set to turn a huge profit on this starlet at some point soon. 2. Anthony Martial. A transfer which has a 0.5% chance of happening, that's George Wright's figures. Forgotten man Anthony Martial could be the perfect foil for Arsene Wenger if Alexis leaves. The Frenchman found it hard to impress Mourinho in the previous season though. despite scoring 4 goals and nabbing 6 assists in just 1,500 minutes of football. Known for his composure and dribbling ability, Martial goes past more players than Angel Di Maria with 2.6 per 90, albeit with a slightly lower success rate. One weakness in his game, apart from not wanting to act as a 7th defender for Mourinho, is his ability to create chances, as he averages just 1.4 a game. That's only slightly better than Granit Xhaka, who predominantly sits on the halfway line, passing from deep. Shot taking has also been a negative point for Martial. Despite playing as a centre forward in half his matches, he pulls the trigger just 2.5 times a game, though half of those shots did come from inside the box. This might just be a poor patch, as remember he was averaging 3/4 of his shots inside the box under Louis van Gaal. Still regarded as one of the brightest talents in football, despite being overshadowed by fellow countrymen Mbappe and Dembele, Transfermarkt have Martial's value down at €30 million. That might need to be doubled or even tripled if Arsenal stand any chance of nabbing him from the Reds. 1. Riyad Mahrez. Like Eden Hazard after his Player of the Year campaign, Riyad Mahrez dropped off in a faltering title-winning side, but the Algerian is desperate for a move away from the Foxes, with Arsenal reportedly being his preferred destination. Mahrez's 6 goals and 3 assists in 36 games last season pales in comparison to his standout year, when he bagged 17 goals and 11 assists. A player who loves to cut in onto his left, Mahrez's footwork is the standout area of his game, and it shows in his stats. Now, last season was down a lot from the title-winning campaign, but he still got 2.5 take-ons with a 46% success rate. In 15-16, he managed 3.9 take-ons and 56%, so while there's been decline, he's still pretty good. Despite having a below-average season, his chance creation remained near enough the same as in his best campaign at 1.6. So perhaps his assists in the 15-16 season flattered him a little bit, as Vardy finished everything that came near him. For a player who bagged a ton of goals in the Prem, Mahrez actually doesn't have a crack at goal that often, taking around 2.4 shots per game, even in his Player of the Year campaign. His goal scoring is perhaps down to his shot accuracy, as he hits the target 64% of the time. That's higher than lethal strikers such as Edinson Cavani and Cristiano Ronaldo. The Algerian is still held in high regard despite an average season. He's valued at €30 million, with Leicester apparently willing to accept 45. If Arsenal fail to lure Thomas Lemar, we could see Mahrez donning the red and white kit next season, with or without Alexis. So those were our top 5 players who could replace Alexis Sanchez next season. But what did you think? Who should we have included? Let us know in the comments below. Now, if you enjoyed this video, God knows why, check out the rest on our channel. We've got top 10s, we've got Continental Club Football Mundial, and of course, Stat Wars. And as ever, don't forget to like and subscribe.